vanachari jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Girivardhari Gopi Girivardhari Vanachari Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Kunja Bihari Jai Sripad Paramahamsa Prabhupada Sadashisimad His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramahamsa Prabhupada Sadashisimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Srila Gokishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Srila Thakur Bhakti Vinod Ki Jai Sri Guru Parampara Ki Jai Srimad Bhagavad Gita Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glory to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. Go Premananda Hari Hari Bo. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. All together, please. Om again. Simarandasya Ganandana Salakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stavidam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yukta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajantam Sahagana Raganatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Prijana Setam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vidanscha He Krishna Karna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapcha Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhana Sudadevi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Paditana Pavibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So thank you very much. So now today's class is verse 38 of the 18th chapter, entitled The Perfection of Renunciation. So, please repeat. Yad agre. Oh, sorry, that's 39. Avishayendriya samyogat yatad agre mrittopanam panam pariname visham iva tatsukam rajasam smritam Vishayendriya samyogat yatad agre mritum panam mam parivaname visham eva tadsukam rajasam smritam Vishayendriya samyogat yatad agre mritum pamam pariname visham eva tadsukam rajasam smritam. Okay. Vishayendriya samyogat yatad agre mitopamam pariname visham eva tadsukam rajasam smritam. Vishayendriya samyogat yatad agre mitopamam pariname visham eva tadsukam rajasam smritam. So, word for word, please repeat. Samyogat. Oh, sorry, at the bottom. Vishaya, of the objects of the senses. Indriya, and the senses. Samyogat, from the combination. Yat, which. Tat, that. Agre, in the beginning. Amritam upamam, just like nectar. Pariname, at the end. Visham iva, like poison. Tat, that. Sukam, happiness. Rajasam, in the mode of passion. Mritam, is considered. So, translation, Srila Prabhupada. That happiness, excuse me, that happiness which is derived from contact of the senses with their objects, and which appears like nectar at first, but poison at the end, is said to be in the nature of passion. Please repeat. That happiness, which is derived from contact of the senses with their objects, and which appears like nectar at first, but poison at the end, is said to be in the nature of passion. Okay. Purport Srila Prabhupada. A young man and a young woman meet, and the senses drive the young man to see her, to touch her, and have sexual intercourse. In the beginning, this may be very pleasing to the senses, but at the end, after some time, it becomes just like poison. They are separated, or there is divorce, there is lamentation, there is sorrow, etc. Such happiness is always in the mode of passion. Happiness derived from a combination of the senses and the sense objects is always a cause of distress and should be avoided by all means. Mukam karochi vachalam pangam laite girim yad kripa tamaham vande Sri Guru Dinatarinam Visha Indriya Samyogat Yat Tad Agre Mritum Pamam Pariname Visham Eva Tad Sukham Rajasam Smitam. That happiness which is derived from contact of the senses with their objects and which appears like nectar at first, but poison at the end, is said to be in the nature of passion. Yes. So Prabhupada in the purport, he's not very optimistic about married life. He's saying that people, they combine, the man and the woman, but then it becomes like poison at the end because there's separation or divorce or some problem. So that is the course of time. Time, we may fall in love with a beautiful girl and think will be happiness and so on. But even if that is there, it is temporary. So it's not satisfactory. Now, but another point is, there is pleasure there. There is pleasure there. But it is very minimal. Actually, Anandamoy Vyasa is the definition of Krishna, third verse of Vedanta Sutra, that he's full of pleasure. Rasavaisaha, he's full of all the mellows, but these are eternal mellows, and they are unlimited. And to contact Krishna, Atakshri Krishna Namani Nabhaved Graham Indriya, that Krishna cannot be contacted with the material senses. The transcendental world cannot be contacted with the gross senses. Krishna, the transcendental world, is contacted with purified consciousness that is imbued with a sense of service attitude. Whereas in the material world, we are contacting gross matter with the senses, with the attitude of self-enjoyment, satisfaction of our own self. And it's all under Kala, Kalosmiyaham, Krishna explains. When Arjuna earlier, he saw the Vishwarup, the Virat Rupa, he saw all the events of the material world by Krishna's grace. Krishna gave him divya chakshus, divine sight. So he was bewildered because he saw the battlefield, he saw all those things. Krishna told him, you can see anything you desire in this Virat Rup. I will manifest anything past or future. But it was very fearsome because time in the material world drives us to mrityu. Mrityu sarva haraschaham. In the previous chapter, Krishna explains to Arjuna mrityu. So time, the Kala Shakti, pushes us along to mrityu. So we may achieve, through good or bad karma, some material happiness in this material world. But first of all, it is temporary. We may work very hard and as a businessman or this and that and gain a big bank balance, but it's going to go. Everything in this world is temporary because it's under Kala. And also, like I say, we are Atma, Aham Brahmasmi, we are spiritual. So, though we are identifying with the body, we are never going to be satisfied because the material world is external to our nature. The material world is material, but we are spiritual. We are a different category of entity. It's there in the Shastra that Krishna, his energies can be divided into three. There is the external energy, the material energy, and then there is the spiritual energy. And then there is the Jiva Shakti. The Jiva Shakti, Angsa, is part of Krishna. So Jiva Bhuta Sanatana, he's an eternal entity, and he is Vangsa. He is the family of Krishna. He is the expansion of Krishna. He's Vibhinangsa. Vibhinangsa means separated part, which indicates that he has his separate will. So if we choose to remain in the material world, chasing after the will of the wisp, it doesn't really matter what we achieve in this material world. It will never really satisfy us. But there is some pleasure, or else how can a man and a woman work so hard at work, bringing up children, constructing a house, making a business? There is minuscule amount of pleasure, but it is material and it never satisfies the soul. So therefore people in the mode of passion here, they try to increase their material pleasure often, especially now in Kali Yuga, by intoxication, right? They take stimulants, or they take alcohol, or they take, in India they call daru. on the Sundarak road, I was going upward to Delhi, and the driver said, "You see behind these grills, that is where they sell the daru." Right? Have you seen near the bend there? There's 4 or 5 shops. And opposite, there's a big field there, and there's a lot of guys. So, as I explained on Wednesday, the Japanese have an interesting saying. They say that a man takes a drink, and then the drink takes another drink, and then the drink takes the man. Right? So you drink a little bit, you get a buzz, and then you think, "Oh, I'll increase this. I'll have another drink." And then you drink another one, and then you're lost. And then the next day you have a headache. Now, I'm not recommending that you do this to experience this, but this is known. Same thing with also, one was telling me, one person was telling me that in the government sells bong here and there right? So people, they take some bong and they get a buzz, but then they fall asleep, and also it's very destructive for the intelligence, buddhi. So passion leads to tamagun. You see, this is because there is a little pleasure there in contacting the material objects with the material senses that we all have, but we want to increase it. So in Bhagavatam it says, Tapo Divyam, that the human being, he should perform divine tapasya. He should restrain or discipline his senses, and then fix his consciousness on the Supreme. And then Rasavai Saha, Krishna, and the whole spiritual world is composed of rasa. We've mentioned this before. In the Dashmula, the Prameya Ratnavali, it explains that there's three mulas when you understand Bhagavan. One is Ishvara Parama. He is the source. He is the Aham Sarvasya Prabhuvo. He's the source. He's the Ishvara, therefore. He's the composer of the universe. Second aspect is a Shakti, a Chincha Shakti, has a whole range of different potencies. He's Bhagavan, he's full of all opulences, full of a range of opulences and potencies. And then Rasavai Saha, the potencies that create the material world, are also imbued with rasa. We've explained this a number of times, that the potencies, for example, your tongue reacts with the food you put in your mouth. But it's chemically, this is Shakti. But it's also tasting. When we look at the sunset, yes, the Shakti, the sunlight is refracting through the atmosphere, causing a very beautiful display. So the scientist or somebody that, let's say, that's just focused will explain, oh, because of the refraction, this red color is appearing, the orange color is appearing, yellow color is appearing. That's okay. But the poet will look at the refraction and he will think, oh, look at the beauty of the creation. Well, the devotee will think that. He will connect it to the Supreme Lord. So this combination of the Shakti of Bhagavan is unlimited Shaktis in different varieties, and it is imbued with rasa. And that rasa means mellow or a taste, just like a good cook can put in a good taste into the food. It's not just a chemical composition. It is that, but it's also imbued with rasa. So that's what we're searching for, rasavaisaha. So the devotee and those in knowledge knows that why should I go for this lower item when I can go direct to the Supreme Lord? And that is my relationship. Mama angsa jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. I am actually meant to reciprocate with Krishna and with Krishna's devotees, not reciprocate just with the material energy. If we reciprocate with the material energy, the jada, or the dull material energy, we are reciprocating with Krishna, because ultimately everything is the energy of Krishna. That's what Arjuna saw when he saw the universal form. He saw the potencies of Krishna, the energy of Krishna in the material world. But in the Bhagavatam, we get the description of the Ras Leela, and the Ras Leela is there, and we have a vision of the spiritual world there. Arjuna was in great anxiety. But now on this subject here, this attraction between man and woman here, that is the basic principle of material existence. That's why the great Acharya, Srila Prabhupada, he's not holding back. Earlier in the Gita, there is one verse, Kama Esha, Krodha Esha, Rajaguna Samudbhavam, that it is lust only, Arjuna, which is the all-devouring enemy of this world. Because previous to that, Krishna has told Arjuna so many ways to regulate your life, your activities, so that you become pure. Tapo divyam, how to control your senses. Perform your activities, but perform them as yajna to the Supreme Lord. And there's so many elaborate things, knowledge is given and so on. But Arjuna explains that, okay, before Krishna gives this Kama Esha, Krodha Esha, before he gives this answer, Arjuna asks a very intelligent question. He says, yes, Krishna, you are telling us that this material world is unsatisfactory, that we should strive for transcendent consciousness, Krishna consciousness. And you're giving good instructions. Yes, it seems good, we have to work, so let me work for the Supreme. But then Arjuna asked that question, but then why don't people do that, right? Why do they get stuck in the material atmosphere and chasing the will of the wisp? It is explained like that the animal who's in the desert, he chases after the mirage, or he goes for a drop of water. Why do people go for that instead of following this yoga, whereby tapodivyam, if they control their senses and they meditate and they perform their activities in a pure manner and offer those activities with bhakti bhav to the Supreme, why? And then the connection to Rasavai Saha is connected. You can understand. This is through Seva Bhav we connect to Krishna and Krishna's devotees. Lord Chaitanya is teaching this. So why don't people do that? So Krishna explains, Kama Esha, Krodha Esha, Raja. It is because the material body is a reservoir of lustiness through many past lifetimes. Just like, for example, the example of those unfortunate people drinking daru. They know it's not good. They know the wife is not happy when they come home. They know they're wasting their money. But they're caught by karma. And karma doesn't just mean sex life. It means the idea of enjoyment in the material sphere. Whereas, so why? It's because of this habituation, this conditioned life. So earlier in the Gita, I think it's second chapter, Param Drisvani Vartate. The solution to this root, this desire to enjoy sex life and enjoy intoxication and so on in an undisciplined manner, how is it conquered? That is the point. So later in that third chapter, after telling Arjuna that you are conditioned, the soul is conditioned to enjoy through many lifetimes. You're trying to enjoy as a dog, you're trying to enjoy as a devata, you're trying to enjoy as a worm in the stool. So how to overcome that? So Krishna gives this idea, you must meditate upon the Supreme. And it's an introduction to the idea of Ashtanga Yoga, whereby the consciousness is disciplined through breathing exercises and so on. But the ultimate aim is to fix the consciousness on the Supreme. But then Arjuna says, well, that seems very unendurable to me. That's very difficult to do that. And there are yoga societies, but they're generally, now in Kali Yuga, they are doing some meditation, but generally it is about keeping slim and beautiful and enjoying your sensual ability. But Arjuna says, it's not possible. But then Krishna says, Yes, Arjun, it is undoubtedly difficult to control the senses, but it's possible by constant endeavor and detachment. So this is instructional. What does that detachment mean? That means detachment from the objects that arise in the consciousness. Like here, sex life. A young man, he thinks of a beautiful girl. Then he identifies with the idea and he enjoys this idea. Oh, yes, I must get married to a beautiful girl. But detachment means the, the objects of the senses that appear in the consciousness. The first reaction of the yogi is to see that this is entering my consciousness. And I don't identify with the object that comes into my consciousness, but rather I identify with my consciousness. Uh, and therefore I expel the sensual objects. So that is the detachment that Krishna is talking about. That when the idea to enjoy material senses and material objects arise, the yogi is trained by guru, by the teacher, to see this is not to be identified with. You must withdraw your consciousness and fix it on the Supreme. And in that way you will get param drisvani vartate. Now, in the Bhagavatam, this is very good knowledge to understand. Okay, I'm fixing my consciousness on the Supreme. But in the 10th canto, I think it's verse 39 of chapter 36, in the 10th canto, it is explained that this comes at the end of the Ras Leela section. And there's a very important verse there. It says, those devotees that meditate on the loving affairs of Radha and Krishna and the gopis as in the Ras Leela, for them the desire for material sensuality is dispelled. So it is one thing to withdraw the senses and the consciousness from material objects and expel them. But what are you going to do? Have vacant consciousness. This is the problem of impersonalism or voidism. They withdraw from the material activities and try to fix the consciousness away from them. But you must have a higher taste. You must have a higher meditation. And that higher meditation, and it's particularly mentioned, like I say that, verse 39, chapter 36, is the loving affairs of Radha and Krishna, the Ras Leela, because this is not material. But the understanding of this as Anandamoy Chinras, spiritual rasa, rather than Jada ras, material rasa, that is difficult to attain if one is not performing tapo divyam. Tapo divyam means you should be chanting Hare Krishna and you should be overcoming anathas, right? You are all experienced devotees. You know Shraddha, Sadhusanga, Bhajana Kriya, then Anatha Nivritti, and then Ruchi. Oh, sorry, Nishtha and Ruchi. So we want to get Ruchi. We want to get the taste of spirit. But that is only available if we perform the tapasya of Anatha Nivritti. If we overcome the anathas, the material conditioning. Those are 4 in number. Bhaktivinoda Jaiva Dharma explains throughout the Vaishnava. First one is Swarupya Aprapti. That the first anartha is that the yogi or the bhakta, whatever, does not have a proper understanding of his spiritual nature. That means he doesn't know Siddhanta. He still thinks I'm the body, conscious being, but he doesn't understand that actually within the soul, within the consciousness, there is a spiritual nature. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem Sadhakavanai. So the first anartha is not to know Siddhanta, not to know the quality of Krishna, not to know the quality of the soul. The second anartha is because we don't understand that I'm spiritual, asat trishta. Because we are still conditioned, we are hankering for the material elements. So we're hankering for like this, dhanam, janam, sundaram, sex life. We want to enjoy the material senses. So we hanker for that. So it's very instructional. The first thing is we have to understand I'm a spiritual being. And then when material attraction comes, we can stand apart from it. This is not something to be contemplated. I must withdraw the senses. Then the third is aparad. So we are performing tapasya, following the order of Guru. We're chanting Hare Krishna very nicely with bhakti bhav, praying Krishna, please pick me up. Ainanda Tanuja Kingaram Patitamam. Please pick me up, Krishna. Please give me some ruchi, some taste. But we commit offenses. And the effect of aparad is that we lose our application to the process of bhakti, sadhana bhakti, or even siddha bhakti. So offenses are 4 departments. There is dharma aparad, offenses against the name, not the holy place. The other one is nam aparad. Then the next one is seva aparad. That means offenses in deity worship, going to the temple and being loud, noisy, or not clean or respectful. Third one. And then the fourth one is Vaishnava aparad. And they are more serious in all steps. The Dham is very forgiving. The name is very forgiving. Seva aparad, we can overcome that if it's accidental in our expertise of performing deity worship. And there are mantras to be chanted after deity worship to overcome offenses. But Vaishnava aparad is the most serious. But even the Vaishnava will always forgive, but especially if it is accidental. So we don't have to be obsessional. Oh, I'm worried about offenses. If we just continue with sincerity, Chaitanya Guru Krishna will clarify everything in the heart. And then the fourth one is, the fourth aparad, before we become nishta and develop ruchi, is hrida abalyam, weakness of the heart. This means that we haven't become drida vrata. We haven't become focused. We haven't become determined that I will conquer my material material conditioning, and I will overcome my anarthas by my determination. So that goes back to the first one, apraptya. We have to have a vision and of our success. We have to believe that I can overcome my senses conditioning, and I will attain the Supreme Lord. So we must be positive in that thought. This is very important. And that is embellished by sadhu sangha and by learning siddhanta, learning sambandha, abhidaya, prayojan, learning philosophy. You can think of it in this way. First is Chetudapana Marjanam. First to purify the mind and consciousness by chanting sadhu sangha. Then we gain, in this mode of goodness, we Vidyavadu Jivanam. We gain Siddhanta, we gain philosophical understanding that I'm a spiritual body in this material world, but now I should realize transcendence. And then after that Siddhanta, after this understanding, Swarupya, understanding my nature, then I can gain ruchi, I can gain taste. Anandam buddhivardhanam, I can develop the higher taste. So it is a very scientific process. Prabhupada always says the science of bhakti. So we should understand this. And Prabhupada, somebody may read that and think, oh, this is very negative about this. But Prabhupada is a Acharya and he's not mincing words. He's not saying just carry on as you are and enjoy and you'll be okay. No, he's making the point that tapasya is there. Lord Brahma, he came to consciousness and he tried to understand the universe. Where am I? He heard one word. What was it? Tapa, yes. Tapa means voluntary control of the senses. That means I use my vibhinangsa, my will, my decision. I will control my senses. I will become detached from Maya Shakti and I will fix my consciousness on the Supreme Lord's Leela ultimately. Because we learn Siddhanta and then on the basis of Siddhanta we can understand the transcendental nature of the Raslila of the Bhagavatam. It's in the 10th canto, it's not in the first canto, so it is a progressive thing. But that is ultimately the position. And so therefore there is the Ashtakala Leela, that the advanced yogis, bhakti yogis, they meditate on Krishna's pastimes in the morning period, the noon period, afternoon, so on and so forth. And they are always meditating, and now at this time Krishna's doing this and that. And they're meditating, in my heart is Krishna, and Krishna, Radha is with Krishna, on the lotus of my heart, and around Radha and Krishna and the devotees in Madhurya Bhav, there is the devotees in Vatsalya Bhav, and around those in Vatsalya Bhav are the friends of Krishna, and around them are the Dasya Bhav, and this is all progressing in the Dham, in those devotees in Madhurya Shantaras, and I'm fixing my consciousness on transcendence, on this knowledge, and I'm chanting and controlling my breathing and senses. This is tapasya. So tapasya doesn't just mean giving up. It means taking up meditation on the Supreme. And that's what the Bhagavatam gives. And if we are Dridhavrata and controlling the tongue, belly and genitals, only eating Krishna Prasad, only discussing Krishna Katha, avoiding offenses, chanting nicely, trying to develop bhakti bhav, avoiding Vaishnava aparat is very important, then we can easily get Nam Ruchi, Nam Ruchi, Sada Ruchi. We can, whenever we chant, we will feel the taste. But we must, in the or in the sadhana stage, we must know that I have to do this Kirtaniya Sada Hare. And Maya Shakti will come and say, oh, let's discuss what's going on in Israel. Let's discuss the latest politics. Of course, we should know what's going on in the world, but we should not be caught up in these external matters. We should take shelter of Krishna, and we should be fixed on the Leela of Krishna in Bhakti Bhav. And that we will gain when we understand I am Gopi Bhata Kamalayo Dasa Das Anadas. So that is Svarupya Apra, to obtain one's, at least philosophically speaking, one's nature as a servant of the Supreme. And this is a basic summary of the whole process. And then if we get this Nam Ruchi, if we get this Leela Ruchi for meditating on Krishna, then we can overcome the lower taste. Yamunacharya, he wrote one special verse. Prabhupada used to quote it. He's still quoting, of course, eternally. And he says, Yamunacharya says, now that I'm tasting Bhakti Bhav and the Nam Ruchi and meditating on whenever thoughts of mundane sex life come in my mind, I want to spit, because this is my enemy. This is something that is foreign to me. It is external. So it's very interesting. He's Jamunacharya. Of course, he's being very humble, but he's saying these thoughts still come to me. So he's giving an instruction that even an acharya, he will be assailed, because we are in the material world. We are in the material world. So there are apparently beautiful women there. There are attraction of money, dhanam, position, pratishta. These things come to us. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta, I was reading the other day, is, oh, my mind is like a prostitute. Why you start searching for pratishta? That means I'll be respected. I'll be known as a great, of course, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta was a great devotee, great tapasvi. He chanted 1 billion names in 9 years in Mayapur. He's very famous. So many people may think, oh, he's a great man. And it's very easy to say yes. It's very easy to be seduced by gross and subtle admiration. But Bhakti Siddhanta and Srila Gokishore Das Babaji Maharaj, he was known, he used to live in an overturned boat, and then he used to chant near a toilet, so people didn't come near him and praise him. He just wanted to be fixed in his Nam Bhajan, and he saw all these external things. So we have to understand like that. We have to discriminate what is matter and what is spirit. And this is very important when we're sadhakas, that we keep this and we know the process, Harinam, in Kali Yuga. So, and we keep optimistic. How? We rely on Krishna. What is that sloka? Ainanda tanuja kinkaram paditamam vishvavam buddho. O son of Nanda Maharaj, I've fallen into this material world. Now you pick me up and fix me, not in Gopi Bhav or as an associate of Radharani. What? Make me a little spark of dust on your lotus feet. He's not praying for any big return. He's just saying, pick me up in this way. So this is the important technique also. We may gather Siddhanta from Sadhu, from Shastra, but ultimately we want to get the mercy of Krishna. Because our sadhana, our knowledge, that is it's never gigantic like Lord Brahma or these great acharyas. So we must, Krishna, you please We must entreat Krishna. Krishna, I'm having trouble in this way. You please pick me up, Krishna. That's what Man Manabha Mad Bhakto Mam. Huh? Yeah, Mam Namaskuru. This we approach the Vaishnava and Krishna with humility, saying, Krishna, this material energy is very powerful, it's overwhelming me. You please protect me. And that is actually the function of the material energy. The material energy, we suffer in this material world, just like the man drinking daru. It's called bhoga tyag. You try to enjoy, but there's no real enjoyment, as it's said in this verse. It's like nectar at the beginning, but it's poison at the end. So sometimes people say, why has God made it so poisonous? Why can't we just enjoy daru and illicit sex and bhang and eat everything? Why is it that there's always this poison at the end? That is the mercy of Krishna, so that we become tyagi, the perfection of renunciation. Bhoga, we want to enjoy in an undisciplined way, but we then tyagi. Just like we explained in the last class, somebody becomes a pop singer or a millionaire, he's got lots of money, and he taking cocaine and women and going here and having all this, but then he goes to rehab. He goes to have his body cleaned out because his brain is fried to a crisp. I can't continue like this. He's in the poison stage. So the Vaishnava system is that we should regulate the senses. We don't say just eat half a chickpea a day. No, eat only Krishna Prasad. Only talk about Krishna. Fix the mind on Krishna. Yes, get married. The majority of Lord Chaitanya's devotees were married, but with the wife combined to practice bhakti. You understand? So it is not that it is just for sannyasis or the six Goswamis. No, everyone under the direction of the spiritual teacher and the Shastra can regulate their senses suitable to that situation, and within that situation chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. And if you fall off the bicycle, get back on. The baby falls on the floor, he stands up again. Krishna will forgive. But be careful about aparad. This is the point. Krishna doesn't mind if somebody is in a fallen condition. Oh, he's struggling to come to see me. I will help him. I will arrange in every way. But he doesn't like aparadis. You know, you can be very, very fallen. Krishna won't consider it if you approach him. But if you become aparadi to not just big devotees or charyas, but to all devotees, neophytes or whatever, or even the dog in the street, then that is serious. Krishna, because then you have to overcome the karmic reaction, you see. And if you're aparadi, then you lose your enthusiasm for the bhakti process. So these are a few points on this, overcoming this. And Krishna is telling Arjuna this, all this knowledge, so we become detached, perfection of renunciation. If you want to know Bhagavad Gita, the first 6 chapters is how we should live. Here's knowledge, here's Siddhanta, here's Karma Yoga, here's Astanga Yoga, how you should live your life according to your material situation. The middle 6 chapters are how you can love Krishna. Bhagavan, Krishna Stu Bhagavan Swayam. Process of bhakti is there. 12th. The last 6 chapter is how you can let go of material attachment. Think of it in that way. And so here, Krishna has given bhakti in the middle 6 chapters, and now he's telling people, here, take this knowledge, mode of goodness, mode of passion. This is not the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is to realize the Supreme. So, actually, I prepared last night a little class. I'll get it off my chest now. So Krishna, in this discussion of the 3 modes, first he explains knowledge in the mode of goodness, knowledge in the mode of passion, the mode of ignorance. Then the next one I looked up in the book is action in the mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance, and then worker. So you can understand. First, knowledge is very important. Then you will perform activity, and then you'll become a worker in the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. And then Krishna talks about understanding, right? Understanding in the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. And then he talks about determination. This is what we were saying, Hridaya Balyam. He talks about how to become determined, the determination of a person in goodness, passion, or ignorance. And now he's finishing up on happiness, because that is the end point of everyone's endeavor. We all want to be happy. We all want to be free of anxiety. That is our sat aspect of the soul. Chit. We all want to be in knowledge, not illusion. And ananda. We all want rasa. We all want mellow taste. We all want those things. It's natural to the soul. So Krishna is instructing us, and through Arjuna here, that cultivate the mode of goodness, and then from that position realize transcendence. Do you see the point? Is this clear now? This is what Krishna is. How to let go. Remember that. First 6 verses, chapters, how to live your life. Karma yoga, breathing exercises, knowledge and everything. Middle 6 chapters, opulence of the absolute, bhakti, the spiritual world, the opulence of the absolute, how to love Krishna. Last 6 chapters is how to let go of this material world. Krishna, because through Gyan, I think, what's that verse in the Bhagavatam? Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayoditi Jnaniti Ashuvairagyam Jnanam Jayada Hoitikam. That if you perform bhakti, you will get knowledge, and through that knowledge you'll become detached. So Siddhanta is very, very important. So Krishna is giving that. So we should understand scientifically the process. So, and then becoming detached and full of knowledge, then we have to train the mind to on smaranam, on the form of Krishna, the leela of Krishna. And then we live in spirit. And then our own swarup, this is called swarup siddhi, nitya siddha Krishna prayed. This will naturally flourish on the basis of seva bhav. So this is the process of bhakti in summation. So Bhagavad Gita is so wonderful. I was also looking up, because another devotee, just incidentally, one devotee the other day, he came to me in the motorcycle car park, and he said, how many questions does Arjuna ask Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita? It's a very interesting question. So as a last topic, who would like to guess? I looked it up on the internet. How many questions does Arjuna ask in the 700 verses of the Gita? Do you think it's 10, 20, 50, 100? Who would like to say? Anybody like to guess? Huh? 18, almost double that. It's 36 questions. It's very interesting. I looked it up last night. It's fascinating. So 36 questions. And besides Krishna and Bhagavan, what names does Krishna, Arjuna, address Krishna by in the Gita? He calls him Bhagavan and he calls him Krishna. Oh, Govinda. Govinda, or what use are these material things? Govinda and yes, 3 times. Madhusudana. And that means destroyer of doubt. Madhu is there. And then the other one, there's just one time mentioned. Starts with a J. Janardhan. Yes, that's right. So Krishna asks, Arjuna asks Krishna, oh Krishna, oh Govinda, Madhusudan 3 times, Janardhan 1 time. And he mentions, oh Lord, but if you looked in the text, you'll find Bhagavan there in 1 conjugation. So, and also I found out, because we're coming to the end of the 18, yes, there's 700 verses in the Gita. Krishna speaks 573 verses of that 700. Arjuna speaks 83 verses. 83. Sanjay speaks, because he's speaking to Dhritarashtra, 41 verses. And Dhritarashtra speaks, huh? Yes, 1 verse, because he's asking what's going on there. So it's very interesting. If you kind of look in this way, it's very interesting. Krishna, 573, 83 Arjuna, 41 Sanjay, Uvacha, and Dhritarashtra, because he sets the whole thing going. So we are very fortunate, because now we have the internet, we have all Prabhupada's books, we have computers, we should take advantage. We have 2,000 lectures by Prabhupada. We should immerse ourselves and we'll gain Siddhanta. And we gain Siddhanta as an entrance way to, what did I say in class? Yeah, to Leela. You see, the Siddhanta will give us detachment, and then on the basis of that detachment, we practice through chanting Hare Krishna, we fix our mind on the Leela of Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. So thank you all very much for your coming to class. Please come next Friday. Any question? Or comment or whatever. Yes.
Actually, the soul's nature is Anandamaya Vyasa.
Excuse me?
The soul's nature, looking for happiness.
Yes. Because Krishna, we discussed this in the last class actually. It's in the beginning of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Radha and Krishna are one, but to enjoy the bliss of pastimes, they have separated themselves eternally. So we were discussing this last class, that the reason for the creation is to enjoy rasa, bliss. So that is Krishna's impetus. He is Anandamoy Vyasat. He's full of pleasure, right? That's the Vedanta Sutra, right? Atato Brahma Jignas, Janmadhyas Yata, Anandamaya Vyasat. Now inquire into the Supreme. What is the Supreme? He is the source of everything. Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo. And then the next verse says, Anandamoy Vyasat. He's full of bliss. But he wants to increase his bliss, right? Just like, and that is what the Daru drinker is doing. Do you see? He's getting a little bliss through drinking his Daru, and then he's thinking, I'll increase my bliss. We have this impetus. We want to increase our bliss. Why? Because we are a sample of Krishna. You see the point? So, devotee, he wants to increase his understanding of Siddhanta. He wants to understanding of Leela, his knowledge of Krishna. This is what we want to expand, but so this is what we should understand. I will expand my knowledge, my bliss, in understanding Krishna, Lord Chaitanya, and their pastimes. Do you see the point? We never come to an end where we think, oh, now I've understood everything. Oh, my bliss is sufficient. No, we're like the Daru drinker. But he's trying to increase his material bliss, but it's becoming poisonous, right? Well, we are trying to increase our bliss by serving Krishna. But, very important point, the Savai Pumsam Paro Dharmo Yato Bhaktir Hoksanya. The supreme Dharma for all humanity is service to Adhoksanya. But it must be ahoitiki apratiyata. Ahoitiki means we don't actually serve Krishna so that we can get bliss back, actually. That is not how they feel in the spiritual world. And apratiyata means unbroken. They are just serving Krishna spontaneously because that is the nature. And why is that? Because Krishna is serving us spontaneously. You understand? He's created all these spirit souls so that he can serve them. In this material, we want to serve ourselves, but the actual nature of Krishna is to serve the creation, to serve all his. The happiness of the spiritual world is save above. But in the material world, it's inverted. We want to serve ourselves. So we never really, so we're isolated and egotistical and so on. And this is the material world.
So my question is,
So ahoitaki means, you see, what does ahoitaki means? I offer an apple to Krishna, and then I want, give me an orchard of apples. That is not ahoitaki. I offer an apple to Krishna, and that's it. Krishna, enjoy this apple. Don't give me 10 kilos of apples back. No that's it. That's detachment. That is the spirit. So if we have this ahoitaki bhakti, we can get ruchi very easily. We serve Krishna for his pleasure, for Guru's pleasure, for Radharani's pleasure, for Lord Chaitanya. We just give. And then, yeah, don't give me any return, whatever you think. And what does it, Lord Chaitanya say? Aslishiva padaratam panashtaman. Whether you trample me or embrace me, that's your choice. But I'm going to serve you.
but bhakti is always sweet, Prabhu.
Huh?
Bhakti is always sweet. Anyway.
Is always what?
Free. Bhakti is always sweet, right?
Free.
Sweet, sweet.
Sweet, yeah, yeah.
How come it is poison? It becomes poison.
No, we're not. You came in the after 20 minutes. No, this is talking about material things here. This is the verse. You missed the verse. You should come at the beginning next week. It's a discussion that passion in the material world, you try to enjoy your senses, and there's little happiness, but it becomes poisonous. You understand? So I don't want to go past all that. So we're not talking, bhakti never becomes poisonous because that is the transcendental spiritual nature.
God created us to for his enjoyment, or he created us for to serve him? Like to serve, like
Say again.
like Krishna created us so that he can serve us, or he created us for his enjoyment.
This is a good question. Krishna is Atmaram. He's Anandamoy Bhat. He's full of pleasure. But he is expanding. He's not limited. So he has created Vividangsa souls out of his generosity of spirit so that they can enjoy. And he will enjoy seeing them. But in the ecstasy of prema, motivation, selfish motivation is not there. Because Krishna, he's creating everything, but it is remaining within him. It is within Krishna. So Krishna, he's not, he is creating spirit. So just like, for example, he's Atmaram, he's full of, say you're a great musician, right? Do you want to stay at home and play guitar on your own? Or do you prefer to have your friends or people around and play music for them? Yes, of course. Because you want Sangha. You understand? It's good to practice on your own and you get some taste, but you like to give your music to the people. So we have this feeling because that is inherent to Krishna. Krishna wants to expand his happiness, his associates, and he wants to take happiness in their way, and so on and so forth. But the bottom line is, it's not selfish. He wants to give. For example, the mother uh, hears the child's crying. She wants to help the child, feed the child. She doesn't consider her own enjoyment of having a child because of love. So in the spiritual world, this is a good topic for you to contemplate. Krishna is not contemplating his enjoyment. He's unselfish. He's the unlimited Supreme Lord. He wants to give, like the musician. He wants to give music to the people. Understand? So the spiritual rasa is based on unselfish giving. The material rasa is based on selfish taking, you see. So we have, you see, your question is on this topic, is it not? Is Krishna selfishly creating jivas to enjoy them? Right? Because that is what we're used to in the material world. You understand? So we have to this is a good question, because now you can contemplate, yes, Krishna is creating so he can give. You understand? He's giving pleasure. His pleasure is to give pleasure. But in the material world, we want to take. We want to take, right? Oh, I love my wife if she's good to me. You understand? Then Prabhupada says there's divorce sometimes, right? Because, oh, she is not cooking properly, she's speaking badly, just because I drink too much daru. So I want something in return. But the spiritual ras is motiveless. It's ahoitaki. So it's the real pure consciousness. Huh?
Selfless.
Selfless, that's the word, selfless. In this material world, it's selfish, you see? So it's selfless. Let 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 other living entities of independent nature enjoy. Let me have let me expand. You see.
As when we say that Krishna, he likes the when he serves us, that makes him enjoy. Like when he serves us, that makes him feel happy.
Yes. That's also in Nectar of Devotion. Prabhupada talks about that. The Acharyas talk about that. When the gopis come to see Krishna in the Ras Leela, they're so happy. Then Krishna's so happy to see them, right? Then the gopis see that Krishna's happy to see them, and they feel happy, huh? And then when Krishna sees that they're happy to see him, he becomes happy. You understand? And so there's a reciprocation of happiness, you see? There's like a competition, you see? And it's selfless. Huh? The calculation is not on my basis. Because in the spiritual world, there's no birth, death, old age, and disease. There's no anxiety. Everyone is Atmaram. Everyone is full of bliss. Everyone's perfectly satisfied. But in ecstasy, they want to give. You understand? So contemplate this point. Your question is very pertinent, very perceptive, you see, because it goes to the root of spiritual consciousness. It is selfless, as Prabhuji says. Ahoitiki, apratiyata. And it is unbroken. It is so. That is the spiritual world. And this is how we perform bhakti. Here's an apple. Now the kami goes and gives Krishna an apple and says, I want 5 kilos of apples in return. Like I said, right? He wants a return. But the bhakta who is properly understanding Siddhanta, here's a nice apple. And Krishna, look, I've got an orange. Take this one too. And enjoy that. Right? And he knows through realization that Krishna's happy and that's enough for me. Right? And then Krishna, oh, my bhakta's given me a nice apple and a nice orange. What can I do for him? You understand? So Krishna will reciprocate. That's his nature. Ye tam prabhadyante. But the devotee is Lishyava Pararatam. He doesn't calculate. He says, oh, Krishna, if he doesn't give me an apple back, I don't care. If he doesn't give me an orange back, it's okay. If he throws an old potato on my head, that's okay. Let him do what he wants. Huh? But I love Krishna, I love Radha, I love the devotees, I love Gaurnita. I want them to give them. That is Bhakti Bhav. You understand? Very important too. So try to grasp this point. And same thing when we chant. Oh, I'm chanting for your pleasure, Krishna. You see, Nam Ruchi, yes. The lowest stage of Nam Ruchi is, I'm chanting Hare Krishna. Oh, I'm feeling bliss. No, that's okay. But the highest stage of Nam Ruchi is, I'm chanting and Krishna's enjoying my chanting. I'm chanting for Krishna's bliss. It's my yajna. You see? So the lowest stage of Nam Ruchi is, oh, I love chanting because it's blissful. But the highest stage of Nam Ruchi is, I'm chanting for the pleasure of Krishna, for the pleasure of Guru. That gives bhava. That gives entrance to the Leela. That gives Swarup. You understand? That unselfishness. You see? So you see, that's why Siddhanta is so important. Prayojan Tattva, understanding the correct idea. Right? So we're going on too long. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram.